This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Did you serve in the military? If so, you can obtain a free lifetime pass to more than 2,000 federal recreation sites. These sites are located across more than 400 million acres of public lands, including national parks, wildlife refuges, and forests. The lands host activities to fit any lifestyle: hiking, biking, fishing, camping, and much more. Gold Star families are also eligible for these free lifetime passes. Plus, they cover entrance fees for a driver and all passengers in a car, or up to 3 additional adults at sites that charge per person. Obtaining one is easy. Just go to the National Park Service website, nps.gov, or the National Park Service app.
All right. Welcome back. MisFitNation. We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their story to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with MisFitNation. If you're a musician or actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share some of your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you're a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and share how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you're a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and just share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or are embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you're a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast apps and also on our YouTube channel at @_Misfit Nation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date with our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show. All right. Welcome back to the Misfit Nation. We are live once again from Fayetteville, North Carolina. This is our second show from Fayetteville, one more on Thursday. And tonight, I can honestly say we broke the curse of Tuesdays. Our guest is here. We don't have a no-show as a guest, and it's a guest I already met before, and I'm pumped to hear her story and have her share it with you tonight. She is a licensed clinical social worker, a U.S. Army veteran as a combat MP. She's a dating coach, and she's on a mission to develop deeper, more connected relationships. She lives to authentically express herself through radical self-love, mindset, and practice. So without further ado, let's welcome Jessica Kelly to the Misfit Nation. Welcome, Jessica.
Woo! Hi. Good evening.
Good evening. It's awesome to have you here. I'm glad that you came around. I mean, we met, I think it was in January when we did the Valentine's card gathering for the Travis Mannion Foundation. And we talked for a while there, and you said you would call me when you were ready. And I was glad you finally reached out and said, I'm ready to do this. So here we are. Jessica, I gave a 2-cent blurb about you. Tell the audience a little more about you from as far back as you want to go to how we got to where we are today.
All right. Shall I stop in between or just keep
You
on?
could. You could.
No, I'm just kidding. All right. Well, I'm 39 years old. I joined the Army when I was 17, December 6, 2001. So after 9/11, and was in the delayed entry program. And as soon as I turned 18, I took off to the Army. Let me think. Hold on. Gosh, there's so much. All right. Is there anything I want to tell you about that? I was thinking earlier, what do I want to talk about? What would be really valuable for your listeners?
Was there a reason you joined the Army to begin with? Was that something you always wanted to do, or was that just the first in a long line of challenges you started?
Thank you for asking. Yes, there was a reason. I had a bit of a troubled childhood. I struggled to connect. I was very shy. I didn't get to express my feelings and my emotions a lot as a child. And, as a result, I didn't ask for a lot of help in school. And I created a story that, I wasn't very smart. So as I went through high school, I realized that being successful meant I needed to do something for myself. I was going to have to create my own success in life. And I was okay with that. So when it was getting closer to graduating, I still didn't feel very smart, even though I was in an honors class and I got, straight A's my last senior year. I did not feel very smart. I didn't have a lot of people around me telling me how smart I was, right? Or telling me what college was and where I should go, what I should do. I did terrible on the SAT, so that further affirmed that I wasn't very smart. And I didn't think I was smart enough to go to college, right? Well, one day the recruiters were walking around and I met a woman. I thought she was, very beautiful. She carried herself very well. And she told me that, obviously she was in the Army. She said, she has a house, she has a career, she's happy. She feels fulfilled. So I thought, you know what? I want that. I want to join the Army. I want all that. And I didn't have a lot of options when I was graduating, where I was going to live and that sort of thing. So it was just a perfect opportunity. And I joined the Army.
It's like a perfect storm for you at that point. And so all eyes went to, but still in there, you never mentioned why on God's green earth did you pick MP?
Because, Rich, I went to the Tampa MEPS. Mind you, I'm from Orlando, Florida. We do not have military walking around like here in Clarksville.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know you had to shoot guns. I didn't know you had to wear the BDUs because the recruiters, they wore those nice outfits. The lady was wearing makeup, all the things. Anyways, I went to MEPS and it was a very rough day. I felt very violated that day. I'm brand new to all this. I'm like, wow. And then they walk you into the room to pick your job. And, I got like an average score. So they were offering me a lot of jobs I didn't understand, like construction and things. And I was like, whoa, I don't want to do any of this. I'm getting overwhelmed. And there was a guy, the guy who's helping me, he brought out his I Love Me book. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, Love Me book.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should come back another day. Maybe I should think about this. And he said, look at my I Love Me book. I'm an MP and I have all these certificates and I drive around in an air-conditioned car. You get to do all these things. It's great. Why don't you be an MP? And I was like, okay, I'll be an MP. And then he said, you have to sign up for 5 years because that's all we have. And I was like, oh my God. Okay, fine. I'll sign up for 5 years. And that's what I did.
And did you go to Fort McClellan or Fort Leonard Wood?
Leonard Wood.
Okay. So you got to go from beautiful Florida to Lost in the Woods, Missouri, to attend the MP school right next to the best branch in the Army, the Chemical Corps, which is right next door to you there. So, I mean, you could have turned left when you got there and said, I'm going chemical instead. You still stayed MP. And what was your first duty station after that?
Fort Campbell, Kentucky, my first and only. And I remember being in basic training and they were handing out the orders, where we're going to go. And they started laughing at me when they looked at mine, and I was like, oh my God, what is going on? Where am I going? And they're like, you're going to Fort Campbell, air assault. You're going to go to air assault school. And I was like, oh my God, what is that? Yeah. And that's where I went.
Did you enjoy the 10 hardest days in the Army at air assault school, or did you bypass it?
No, I went.
You went.
Yeah.
You took that challenge, see?
Yeah, they sent me because they knew I could pass it, but I did not want to go.
You did not want to go? No.
Sergeant Weaver, he said, you're going, don't embarrass us.
Yes, Sergeant. So you did your 5 years. You said that we were talking, of course, we talked way back in January. We also talked in the reading room there. You were in Iraq, and that kind of motivated you to what you're doing now. Things you seen in Iraq. So share a little bit with the audience, the things that you witnessed in Iraq and why in your mind you knew you had to do something else.
Well, when I joined the Army, I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I figured 5 years, I could figure that out. And then I get thrust into the MP world. Although I didn't go on the road until after my first deployment. So it was more of a combat MP. I never made it to that air-conditioned car because as soon as I got out of basic training and got to Fort Campbell in January 2003, they were like, here's these desert uniforms. You're going to be going somewhere soon. So we're going to start training. And yeah, sorry. I'm thinking of all the memories with that. That was really scary. And again, so naive, Rich, this young 18-year-old girl, the orders had said we were going to Kuwait. So honestly, I didn't even know we were going to Iraq. And that's a little embarrassing to admit. But other people have said they thought the same thing. So I feel comfortable saying it.
I mean, the Humvee you were in was kind of air conditioning, no windows, or at that time you probably still had plastic doors on them. So either it was a hot box or you had a little wind from the hot as a desert air at the time.
Yeah. No, ours were up armored.
Up armored, yeah, okay. So it was just a hot box. So.
Yes, and you were just so grateful to have it. So you're like, I don't care how hot I am, I'm going to keep this. I do remember wanting to roll the windows down, and they're like, don't roll the windows down. It's like, I really want to roll the windows down. Let's take a risk.
Could have volunteered to be a gunner.
They did not put me in that position, no. I was the driver.
Oh, well, there you go. That's good. So you got the drive. You controlled the action. That was good.
I tried. I'd never driven a Humvee before.
Oh, wow.
I barely could see over the steering wheel.
Probably made everyone in the vehicle so excited.
I mean, I did have to replace a lot of mirrors. Let's just say that.
Oh.
But the motor pool always had extra, so it was okay.
They had their own box of parts, the Jessica parts. She's back, so let's go get new mirrors, new lights. Everything's going well.
But I mean, today I'm an excellent driver.
Hopefully, you drive a smaller vehicle
now. I can drive them all.
You can drive them all now. So, what? Explain the conditions you've seen the kids in over there that really made you think I need to do something to help them.
Okay, so I think you're speaking about how I chose social work.
Yes.
So when I was in the Army, by the end of the 5 years, all I knew is that I didn't want to be an MP. I didn't want to be a cop. I didn't want to be a police officer. I kind of, when I would be with the people that I had to apprehend, like doing the questioning and stuff, I just felt myself doing more counseling type work, and I just remember, okay, back to Iraq, how I remember in Iraq, I didn't know what I wanted to be, but I just remember in Iraq, in Al-Qut, Iraq, I just remember all the kids running around, chasing our Humvees. Oh, my laptop keeps chasing our Humvees, you know, with the trenches of poo running through the streets, and I would just thought, man, I wish I could give all those kids some shoes. You know, and like we were saying earlier, I'm like, well, maybe they wouldn't even all want shoes, but I would just love to give those kids some shoes. And when I went in search of my next career, I found social work. I went walking around Austin P aimlessly looking for inspiration because I knew the GI Bill, I was going to use it, and I knew I wanted to make sure I used it, picked a good thing, you know, made use of it with the 3 years. I think it was 3 years. And I stumbled into the social work office, and Professor Carter was there. And he started telling me about social work and how all the different things you can do with it and how the different ways you can help people. And he told me about a scholarship for the state, the child welfare stipend. And it was a 2-year scholarship. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get that scholarship and I'm going to be a social worker. And that's what I did. I got the scholarship and I did my time. And then I served some time with the state in Child Protective Services, repay them for their kindness.
Wow, nice. And you're now a Proud Gov alumni, and you stayed in Clarksville. And what are you doing now with it?
Oh, wow, Rich, that's jumping way forward.
I'm trying to help you out, push it forward, but you can put it back.
Well, you know, I worked in Child Protective Services. That was my first job as a BSW, bachelor level social worker. And I interned in Child Protective Services and got the job in Child Protective Services. I just remember I was very good at my job. And what helped me be very good at my job was having been an MP, right? Those interpersonal connections, how to, you know, talk to people, how to get the people in the handcuffs nicely so we can go down to the station, do our thing, and go home, you know? I had to build rapport very quickly with children in Child Protective Services. I don't know if you know a lot about that world or interested in knowing anything.
You can share along.
And ultimately, I've always worked with children, right? I started my career working with children, and I still work with children. But just kind of looking back how my skills have built all over the years, it really started in Child Protective Services, interviewing kids and connecting quickly and helping families.
For every veteran, there is a story about a calling to serve, to fight for the freedoms of the American people. And every story has a struggle, a sacrifice, and invisible wounds. Warrior Watts programs help veterans recover from PTSD and invisible wounds through exercise, nutrition, and connecting with other veteran leaders. It is estimated that 22 veterans die each day by suicide, and another 30 veterans die each day by substance abuse. These are preventable deaths. Warrior Watt is committed to fighting PTSD through fitness, nutrition, and community. Privilege and opportunity to support our heroes in their time of need. Will you join us and take action?
In October 2019, Arlington, Texas was chosen to be the home of a new national museum, unlike any other. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a unique home of military history. The 100,000 square foot museum will house exhibits, archives, and artifacts relating to the 3,500 U.S. troops who have been awarded the medal, the nation's highest honor for valor in combat. The museum will have 31,000 square feet of galleries dedicated to U.S. troops who have received the award. The museum's CEO, former Navy SEAL and NASA astronaut Chris Cassidy, said the museum will focus on education as much as preservation. The building will have 5 areas dedicated to Medal of Honor winners from the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard. The main gallery will be located in a central plaza under a 25,000 square foot slab of steel, which will appear to be suspended in midair. It will be supported by 5 pillars. Black Rifle Coffee is a corporate sponsor of the museum, as are the Dallas Cowboys. The museum's board also includes over a dozen major corporations and 6 Medal of Honor recipients, including David Bellavia, Patrick Brady, and Britt Slabinski. Army Staff Sergeant Bellavia was awarded the medal for clearing an entire house by himself on November 10, 2004, as a squad leader in support of Operation Phantom Fury in Fallujah, Iraq. He killed 4 enemy fighters and wounded a 5th in close quarters battle. Army Major General Brady flew and coordinated the evacuation of 51 seriously wounded men during a firefight in Vietnam in January 1968. Slabinski, a Navy SEAL chief and team leader, led a rescue team of SEALs during Operation Anaconda in Afghanistan in March 2002. Slabinski and his team flew to a mountaintop ambush site to rescue Petty Officer First Class Neil Roberts, who had fallen from the back of a helicopter. Slabinski led the team through almost constant combat against an entrenched Taliban force. Along with the board members, former presidents Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama serve as honorary directors. The museum is expected to open to the public in late 2024.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the MisFit Nation. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all of our past episodes and get some of that great MisFit Nation gear. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling. Because we are MisFit Nation.